Hi, this is Mark and Merle. We're originally from Asheville. I am anyway. She's from Charlotte. We moved to Asheville when I was young, and we ended up in the same neighborhood and been married for 52 years now. One of the big things we want to talk about today is how we got involved with the Humane Society, what it's meant to us, how our participation grew over time, and how we continue to try to help wherever we can. After I retired, we started looking for something to do to get involved in some local charity work. Narrowed it down to a list of 4 places that we ended up giving some money to. And the last one was at for the Humane Society. I had lunch with Cheryl McLaughlin and Kevin Johnson, and I think you were there too. We were just discussing in general the programs and what they did. And they mentioned they were in the process of putting up a fence all around the property, and they were worried about raising money for that. After listening to them, I wrote them a check for the amount of the whole fence, and they acted like we were heroic. But we were glad to do it because we wanted to, like I say, make an impression on the community that we were there to stay, because we decided to make Cumming, Georgia our home at that point after retirement. Later on, as we became more involved, we learned more about the society. Most people think of animal rescue as just adopting dogs and cats, but there's so much more that goes to it. One of the things they do is a food pantry, where over 400 people a year that have been pre-qualified as needy utilize that to get free food for their dogs and their cats, which lets the dogs and the cats stay with them, keeps them off the street, and lets them be part of the family that they love. Another big part of what we do is spay and neuter. We have some free spay and neuter clinics, and some are very low cost. And we have a vet on site that actually does them right there, so they can make an appointment and do it with us. The part that drew me the largest, and her also, got Merle deeply involved in it, was what's called Humane Hearts. Humane Hearts is a pet therapy organization that we have now 70 dogs in. The whole purpose of it is to visit hospitals, hospices, old folk homes, and high schools. We got involved with that because I had a Great Pyrenees that I had adopted when he was a little over a year old.
From the Humane Society.
From the Humane Society, of course. He tested out very quickly. When he was 15 months old, he became a therapy dog. Over his career, he did over 700 visits to these locations I was talking about, which is probably an all-time record for all I know. But Merle did a lot of work on the schools, particularly in special education, so won't you enlarge on that?
Marley was loved by all the kids. One at each class would always take over, and that was his dog for the time I was there. We had one little girl with Down syndrome. She was the sweetest little thing. She loved The Lion King. And so every time I took Marley before we left, she would draw a picture with Marley and the Lion King and write a story about Marley being in the Lion King. And I thought that was just so sweet. And we had one little boy that never talked, but he read to Marley. And I thought that was one of the most special things ever.
Yeah, she loved going. I loved her going because it kept her involved in it. So it's kind of our face of the community. They know what we do. Marley in his heyday, I would ride down the street and stop at a stoplight, and some kid would stick their head out the window. They'd say, "Hey, Marley," because they had seen him before. He was probably the most famous dog in Cumming for a while. I say so much about him because other than her, he's the best friend I ever had. He died of cancer when he was about 6.5. I still grieve him today. So every day I think about him. I did the donation in honor of him. It was $200,000 of stock, and I would urge people to use stock as a gift for Humane Society or any charity, because there's no capital gains on it when you give it to a 501 group, and it's just a clean way of doing it. And I could have waited till after I was dead and had it donated. To be honest, I wanted to see the reaction, and so I could actually feel the joy of it. I wanted to see it while I was still around to be able to do it, because I am suffering from terminal COPD. It's just meant a lot to me. Humane Society has over the years. All told, I think we've given a little over $30 million to them. And every penny of it, don't begrudge a cent of it. It's, I can't imagine a better way of spending your money. Marley, I love you, big boy. And when they get the new building built, they'll remember you there too.
This is my girl.
This is Athena, and this is Doc. He's named after Doc Holliday because I was watching Tombstone the day that Mark brought him home.
Oh, I love my kisses. I love my kisses.